We think of cockfighting as being a historical sport, but in 2017 it returned to the public attention when a gang from London was convicted of animal cruelty for arranging these events. And although cockfighting has been banned in the UK since the 1800s, when we look back in history, all sorts of fighting and all manner of blood sports were popular in Britain. Hi and welcome back to the Historical Crimes and Criminals podcast. I'm Steve, your host, and it's another History Bite episode. Elizabeth I enjoyed bear baiting, in which the bear would be tethered to a pole by its leg and dogs set upon it. But since the bears had to be imported from abroad at great cost, owners took care to ensure they didn't die in the ring, and after several bouts, some of the animals even became minor celebrities in the way we associate with gladiators now. People would go to bear pits to cheer on their favourites, and they were home to bears with nicknames such as Harry Hunks. Bear Lane in Southwark is named after the events that took place in the area. Bull baiting was also popular, and the Old English Bulldog was bred for and given its name for this reason. Cockpit Steps is the old site of the Royal Cockpit. It's near Buckingham Palace, and it's where upper-class gentlemen could mix it with the roughs and all enjoy the spectacle of cockfighting. The cockpits themselves were often dirty, rowdy, and rather seedy affairs, with a small arena which dueling cockerels would fight to the death. The Royal Cockpit was geared more towards the upper classes, as noted by its 5 shilling admission charge, and large wagers would be won and lost on these fights, and they attracted the best cocks. The rules were remarkably complex, so much so that entire rulebooks were written regarding the correct manner to which the fight should take place. At its simplest level, like boxers having weight divisions these days, the cocks had to be roughly the same weight and height, with their tails and wings trimmed. The sport is credited to the formation towards standard rules for which many sports we watch today. In World War I, the pilots in their cramped space within their planes referred to this as their cockpit, as they fought life and death duels over the battlefield of Europe. Thereafter, in all planes, the area where the pilot sat was known as the cockpit. The Queen's Head pub in Piccadilly has a photograph hanging on one of its walls displaying an assembly of hatted gentlemen and their dogs. The pub was used for ratting, a grisly contest where bets were placed on how many rats a dog could maul within a certain time. Around the mid-19th century, gentlemen and commoners alike would gather in pubs like the Queen's Head to watch the most ferocious dogs fight it out in the rat pit. A notorious bull and terrier called Billy is reputed to have killed 100 rats in 5.5 minutes. It even spawned a side industry for people who would breed the rats specifically for this sport. Interestingly, after the abolition of ratting, the Queen's Head refashioned itself as a meeting place for pedigree dog owners. And this meeting place for gentlemen to exhibit their dogs soon evolved into the society that founded Crufts. Monkey baiting was also popular, and the monkeys often won such fights due to their dexterity and unique fighting style. One such champion monkey was called Jacko Macaco. Jacko fought wielding a club in London in the early 1820s and defeated 14 dogs before he had his jaw torn off by a fierce dog named Puss. Jacko died not long after the match. But not just content with animals fighting, we would also see humans pitted against these vicious beasts, and they drew a large crowd. An advertised fight took place between a man and a dog in 1892. It took place in an East End club. The match was that of James Oxley, a man well known in the neighbourhood of Shoreditch, who would stall off for 30 minutes a fighting dog called Crib, owned by Robert Greene. And so, outside the Britannia Theatre, Hoxton, for 21 minutes, Oxley kept the dog off by using his fists. But at one moment, the dog made a desperate effort to get past the man's guard, and did. It jumped over his left ear, wheeled around, and fastened onto the man's right ear and dragged him to the ground. As soon as it was possible, the dog was dragged off, but the upper part of Oxley's ear had disappeared forever. In 1722, we see a bare-knuckle boxing match between two women, Elizabeth Stokes versus Hannah Highfield, one boasting to the other, "I beat my husband every morning just to keep my hand in." The winner would get 3 guineas, and they both held half a crown, the loser being the first to drop their half-crown. It was a bruising affair, but Elizabeth won, despite the good thumping Hannah had promised her in the paper. And from then on, she began fighting in James Figg's venue, the Boarded House in Marylebone, or his amphitheatre, where cocks, bulls and Irish women fight. Well, that's it for another episode of the Historical Crimes and Criminals podcast. I hope you enjoyed that episode, and if you did, leave a review, tell your friends, and join me on Twitter on the Historical Crimes and Criminals podcast. I've been Steve, your host. Till next time, bye bye.